Hi, my name's Debbie, and this little girl here gnawing on a goat horn is Pip, and we travel in our camper van. Firstly, I'd just like to thank the 44 people that viewed my last video. I really appreciate that, and for the people that liked and subscribed. In this video, I travel down the south coast of Victoria. With this trip, I travel with a friend, Julie, and little Patsy, another Chihuahua, and Patsy and Pip get along really well. Julie I met early in my caravanning days on a second shakedown trip at Bridgewater. We had similar interests and everything, so we decided to do this trip together. So we started off with one night in Dunkeld, then went to Wrights Bay, then come back to Beachport, and then Port Macdonald, then on to Port Fairy. Port Fairy was a roller event, so we ended up there with the roller girls and had a lovely time. Hope you enjoy this video, and I'll talk to you again soon. We spent the first night at Wrights Bay, and then the following morning we went into Robe and had a look around Robe. Robe's a pretty little place with a lot of rocky outcrops along the coastline, and interesting walks up to see the old jail. We had lunch there. After lunch, we moved on to Beachport.
Then we'll cross to Victoria, where the sea breezes blow free, to catch up with the rollers down in Port Fairy by the sea. Gentle, steady song, and Pip peeks from her blankets just to check we're rolling on. She watches passing seagulls and the waves upon the shore, then curls up for another nap.
While we were staying in Beachport, I had a little emergency or medical emergency with Pip. We went for a bike ride one afternoon and let both Pip and Patsy out for a bit of a run and to do their business. And something must have bitten Pip, or she's put something in her mouth, or something happened. So I had to make a couple of emergency video calls to a vet to get some advice at what to do. I had to pack up the next day, and I went into Millicent, which is a 35-minute drive with the roads the way they were at that time when we were there. And she was given an antihistamine injection, which picked her up. By the time that evening came round, she was eating and she was back to her normal self. But that tested me out as far as camping and coping with emergencies. Also on this trip, I went with a friend and her little dog. So Julie I met at Bridgewater on one of my second shakedown trips, and we hit it off. And the two little dogs, Patsy and Pip, they get on like a house on fire. On our first night in Beachport, the wind was howling and our vans were just shaking while we're trying to sleep. Mount Gambier. We went into Mount Gambier for the day just to grab some supplies, fill up our vehicles with fuel and diesel because the prices are starting to rise due to the fuel crisis that we had in Victoria. And then we got on the road after we'd done a bit of touring, checked out the lakes, which was pretty spectacular, and the blue was just magnificent on this day.
Beside me while the kilometers drift by, dreaming little Chihuahua dreams beneath the southern sky. Then we'll cross to Victoria.
We stayed one windy night in Port Macdonald, and went for a nice coastal drive before we pulled into camp to set up. The coastline is rugged and, yeah, very different to what I've ever seen before. Very enjoyable drive through and breathtaking views. When we came into camp, because it was so windy, we decided to huddle up against the hedges to block the wind. So that's why we're sort of cramped into one site.
Just to check we're rolling on. She watches passing seagulls and the waves upon the shore, then curls up for another nap. Every town a place to see.
We stopped in Portland for lunch, where I picked up a crayfish, which I'd been craving for quite some time.
Timetable, just the road and open air.
Julie, Patsy, myself and Pip arrived in Port Fairy to catch up with the rollers. We had a lovely stay in Port Fairy with the roller group, riding bikes, having evening drinks and catching up and having a lot of fun going out for lunch.
Debbie's got both hands on the wheel, the camper's heading west, with little Pip beside her in her cozy travel bed, curled beneath her blankets with her tiny nose tucked in, dreaming of the seaside while the journey can begin. Heading towards Robe where the ocean sparkles.
Hope you enjoyed the South Coast video I've put together. The next part is a Mungo Park tour. It was a sunset tour and it was organised by Di from the Rollers. Thank you very much, Di. Thoroughly enjoyed it. Hope you enjoy it and hope you're not bored with all the sunset photos, but it was an amazing trip. Heading to Balranald, we went through Lake Boga and decided to stop for lunch and have it by the lake on such a beautiful day.
I'm away, keeping her safe, happy and busy during the day. Through the outback roads and the red earth glow, to Mungo's magic landscapes, Debbie will go while Pip enjoys her holiday. Safe at home, we're both having adventures, as happy as can be. Through the outback roads and the red earth glow, to Mungo's magic landscapes, Debbie will go while Pip enjoys her holiday. Safe at home, we're both having adventures, as happy as can be. It's Debbie in her camper van rolling down the track, Pip with friends patiently awaiting her return. Mungo's mystery is calling for
The
us
views
to
were spectacular, but the flies were very annoying, hence why we're all using fly nets. Wow, what a magical place Mungo National Park is. I apologise for all the sunset photos, but it was such a pretty place. You felt like you were on the moon. It was an experience I'll never forget. We had a great time at Balranald. One of the girls, Sharon, she sets up a movie night again, which was enjoyed by the rollers, and we just enjoyed the peaceful nights and the country lifestyle that Balranald has. The Balranald Caravan Park is situated on the Murrumbidgee River, which has a large cockatoo population, which reminded you when it was morning and evening. On the way home, we went back through Lake Boga and decided we'd check out the solo art on the way through. It was very impressive and well done. Thank you for watching this video. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Thank you. What do you reckon, Pip? You having enough time there? You having a nice time chewing that?